Number 1. Blackpink. Because of the scarily hectic practicing schedules in the pre-debut days, many idols have chosen to drop out of school to fully pursue their K-pop dream. Well, this actually sounds like a normal thing because one way or another, they would end up making lots of money, and even some of the richest people on Earth also dropped out of school, things suddenly became a perfect reason for K-nuts to criticize Blackpink. According to these people, it totally made no sense to say that the practicing schedules took up all the time of Blackpink members, because there were many idols who still managed to go to school and debut as successful celebrities. They also claim Blackpink will be a bad model for the young, since besides hating on the girls for their academic levels, they even went further to point out that Jennie stopped going to school at the age of 14, Jisoo dropped out at the second level of high school, and similarly, Rosé as well as Lisa's records only stopped at secondary level. However, there were also many defending opinions, saying that these people were probably so jealous of Blackpink that they had to suddenly make a fuss over something in the past, and most especially, something that had long been a norm among idols. Moreover, since all the girls never once showed the lack of common knowledge and even managed to play multiple musical instruments, as well as fluently speak different languages, it made completely no sense to judge them over some graduation certificates. Number 2. ENHYPEN's Junghyun and Junghyun. On a V-Live just several days ago, where Junghyun asked his member, "Is the United States located in Europe?" but was also quick to correct himself by saying, of course it was not, some immediately captured the moment and made a fuss about it. While that could be a brief moment of Junghyun being absent-minded, which actually happened quite often when you're not focusing, but then quickly came back to reality, just like how Junghyun corrected himself, he still faced a huge backlash for being dumb. According to some, as the United States located in North America was one of the most common knowledge about geography that everyone knew, it's such a shame that Junghyun made that mistake on a live broadcast. A netizen even posted a poll on Pan8, asked others to upvote if they believed this was a thing that couldn't ever be mistaken, and downvote if they had the opposite opinion. And can you guess the results? Well, most people would go for the upvote, and there were only 68 downvotes, which basically meant 763 people believed Junghyun deserved the criticism. To be clear as to why they were so upset, some made their point through a comparison, saying that Jungwon's question was just as dumb as asking, was Hangul, the Korean alphabet, created by General Lee Sushin? Well, the system was created by King Sejong. Some even mocked Jungwon by wondering if he knew South Korea was located in Asia, and said ever since she was born, never once did she see a person say the States was a European country. However, there were also opinions defending Jungwon, saying that people were being ridiculously harsh on a kid born in 2004, as he was probably just having some absent-minded moments, and quickly realized the mistake after not even 1 second. Calling him uneducated was completely nonsense. Plus, as things already happened 6 months ago, it's kinda weird when people suddenly dig it up and throw shade at something that should have been taken super lightheartedly. What's even more confusing is that, though this incident was all about Jungwon, a netizen somehow made her way to drag Junghyun into this mess, by referring to his past mistake on Weekly Idol, questioning whether he misspelled the simple word danbaekjil, which was protein in English, into danbaekjil. While that was literally a stroke Junghyun mistakenly added, many people still use this as a reason to make fun of his academic level for a long time. Surprisingly, that wasn't the only time netizens were hilariously strict to Junghyun, because on the latest appearance of the group on Arcade Pang, he once again made headlines for failing to get the answer for 4 times 7. A netizen even made a gif out of a moment Junghyun hesitated to answer that question, and posted it on a forum with the title, "What do you think about ENHYPEN's multiplication table?" While some netizens argue that it was inexcusable for Junghyun to not know such a basic thing, fortunately most people were on his side this time. According to them, the OP was probably his anti-fan, because the story was taken out of context after she intentionally omitted the detail that he had spent 10 rounds before answering the question. Plus, since even an ordinary person would also get confused when being asked such a calculation all of a sudden, it made absolutely no sense to call Junghyun stupid just through a distorted moment. Number 3. aespa's Winter. On the group's appearance on One the K in May, Winter revealed that she and Karina had taken the GED test, and as found out by netizens, this qualification was equal to the high school diploma in the States, and only those who aren't enrolled in high school would take it. While Winter's education level initially didn't garner much attention, it suddenly became a reason to criticize her after netizens knew about the way she raised hamsters and played with a cat. On August 31st, Winter revealed on Bubble that she used to raise a lot of hamsters, but it was pretty much an accident because, initially, she only planned on having 2. However, as she kept them in one place, the hamster couple ended up giving birth to 23 babies. Because of the overwhelming number, she only kept the weakest one. While that was actually a hilarious and pretty cute story, some decided to bring it to the coup and criticize Winter for lacking the most common knowledge of raising hamsters. According to them, her actions were nothing more than animal abusing. And because hamsters were always supposed to be raised separately, the fact that she kept 2 of them in one place, indirectly prompting them to excessively give birth, did lots of harm to the hamsters. Moreover, since this type of animal prefers living in solitude and has an extremely high sense of territoriality, some said the hamsters must have been mentally tortured by Winter. They also implied there must have been a beef between these animals because, usually, if one hamster lived with another, they would constantly bite and fight with each other for being stressed out. Besides the criticism aimed at her lacking basic knowledge in raising hamsters, others also took this opportunity to bring back the story where Winter was hated for allegedly playing with the cat violently and scaring him away by copying his language. In the comment section, lots of people were implying Winter was a cruel person by saying one's personality was shown clearest through the way they treated the weakest creatures. Also in August, Winter was dragged into another scandal for lacking common sense and recommending an allegedly toxic YouTube channel to her fans, those who were mostly around their teens. As netizens pointed out, this YouTuber who was previously lambasted for lying to his viewers, saying his girlfriend was his younger sister, and posting videos with toxic titles like, "I made a fake Instagram account and approached her to test her tendency to cheat on her boyfriend. This viewer said that they broke up because of me. What the?" And, "The worst photo sent by a girlfriend saying she's drinking at home." However, there were also many people who found it normal for Winter to recommend this channel, because most of the content was actually the YouTuber sharing others' stories. They also believed people were trying to make a storm in a teacup, trying to distort the truth to hate on her, and being overly sensitive over nothing. Number 4. Suzy. Famous as the symbol of classic beauty of South Korea as Suzy is, she is quite often criticized for the lack of common knowledge ever since the very early days of her career. Things all started after Suzy happily recalled how she used to sleep in class quite often on Go Show. And soon after that, netizens kept noticing how she was often clueless of some of the most basic knowledge. There was even a thread titled, "Suzy, the blank paper beauty?" besides calling Suzy the epitome of dumb, pointing out various moments of her lacking common knowledge. For example, she once misspelled the word egg into og in a tweet in 2012. And when being asked who the current UN Secretary General was in 2011, she also failed to answer that it was Ban Ki-moon. The OP also pointed out that she made many wrong answers in basic Korean history questions. And on her appearance on Running Man, Suzy was also the only person to mistake the famous saying, "Know thyself" was by Shakespeare, while in fact, it was by the ancient Greek. Then, in 2013, Suzy continued to receive a huge backlash for the sputtering speech and embarrassing herself when thanking her puppy, in a speech for winning the title Best Female Actress. In 2015, she made headlines again for being unable to explain the movie content where she was the main character. And in 2018, she faced another backlash for failing to answer basic questions from journalists. In the comment section, people kept coming at her for the questionable education level, saying that had it not been for her beauty, Suzy's career would have ended in a blink of an eye. However, there were also opinions defending Suzy, saying that people should have known her schedule was packed with practicing, performing, and acting, which apparently left her no time to do anything else. Moreover, as each person was born with different talents, it's too harsh to call her dumb instead of looking broader into what she'd achieved. So, do you think netizens were nitpicking on things that didn't even matter? Or did these idols actually have real problems with their education level? Comment down below to share your thoughts with us. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to BeBoss TV for more interesting content. Thank you for watching.